Happy 19th of December. So today I all fought for the last few weeks. I kept thinking I will do something for the hands, and then other subjects came in between and wanted to be explored. So today we will do things with the hands, and we will start to simply, like similar to what we did with the feet, to massage it. So you take whatever, you can start with whatever hand feels right for you. You can see which hand may be saying, oh, here, me, touch me. Or if you don't, if none of your hand feels like that, just choose one and start to touch it. So with a lot of attention, touching different places, you can move with your thumb. Often my thumb is a sort of a great explorer, wants to explore this possibility of seeing where there's muscle, and where there's bone. Where can you feel the bone on your hand? Or where is it covered with a lot of sort of tissue, muscle? What are interesting points to touch? It can be on top of the hand or on the inside of your hand or on the outside of your hand. You can feel also how is it on the sides. We often just think here and here, sort of two-dimensional, but what is the whole three-dimensional reality of your hand? Where are the joints? How do they feel? And what are maybe so sensitive points? Like here for me, the whole fingers want to react. It's a sort of like a more like a little bit of a pain, but still sort of enjoying being touched. So touching with a lot of sort of loving curiosity. What is this hand? What has it experienced? What has it done today? What were things that your hand was doing today that your hand came in touch with today? What does this specific hand, enjoy doing? What does it like touching or feeling? And see if you can bring in a sort of like that you can touch in a way as if it's almost like something that you really love, like being in love. You know this feeling of like being in love, of like having a sort of butterflies in your stomach, like feeling like is it possible? And I'm asking you like as a question, like you could put it as a question. Is it possible for you to touch in a way that sort of brings you butterflies to your stomach? Just try it out without having any judgment if it doesn't work out. It's not. But is it possible to touch in a way that makes it so with so much feeling or so much attention, but it brings you butterflies to your stomach, as if it's like, yeah, just having met someone who you find extremely interesting, attractive. That, yeah, simply that you care a lot about a person or an animal. And you can change hands and let the other hand, and the other hand can be touched. And you can allow the hand that has been touched to be curious now, and to also want to touch. And the hand that was touching before, it's allowed to move with the touch in whatever way it wants to, but it can be allowed to be passive for a while. So I'm touching now my right hand, that is normally much more active and very used to doing things and correcting and holding and carrying and everything. And now at this moment it's allowed to be, just to be. To feel and be felt. And what are places that are a bit warmer? What are places that is colder? What are places that are nice to be touched? What are places that are maybe a bit uncomfortable or sensitive? How is it to be touched gently, very softly? How is it to touch more strongly? And then let the two hands touch each other. And for a moment, just let your hands rest wherever. They can rest maybe in your lap, in your knees. And feel how your hands are now. So feel any kind of movements in your hands, cold or heat, or whatever is there. It's either sweating maybe a little bit, or do you feel dryness on the skin? How do you experience the surrounding, like whatever is surrounding your hands? Do you experience the air on your hands? And see now, like what does your body, like what do your hands want to do? And maybe if your hand wants to move a bit, you can allow your body to go with it. So your hands are leading. And your body can be inspired by your hands and also move. You can see if you can also, if you can bring this feeling of being butterflies in your stomach, whatever, if it's being in love or whatever it is for you. But if you can bring that into, like if you can move in a way that brings you butterflies in your stomach. To move for space, to open, to close. You can even try out to very slowly close your hands to fists. Pull them very, very close together. And to slowly open them to very, very slowly allow them to open up. And see what that does. Now put your hands together and let them give a bit of resistance to each other. So like bringing resistance into there. So you're doing resistance, obviously you're doing it with your whole, like from your shoulders, with your whole, like there's something coming from the whole body when you're doing resistance. But see if you can be specifically attentive right now with this resistance to the meeting of the hands. So like try to put your attention into how does it feel for the one hand and for the other hand? What is this sort of the connection between them? Is it warm there? Are there places that are more connected than others, that are more in touch? Is that humid or dry? And see if you can let go of as much of that as possible in the rest of the body, that it's a meeting between the hands as much as possible. And the rest of the body can let go, the neck, the shoulders, as much as is possible, and still have this resistance. And you can let go. And again, feel your hands. And let them slowly separate from each other. You can see how they want to move now. Now do the separate fingers want to move? Is there some specific? Often we see the hands, we feel the hands as a unit unless you're playing instruments or being very sort of active with your hands and attentive to different parts. But like how is it to move different fingers now? Or how do the different fingers want to move? And how can maybe your fingers even lead or inspire a movement for the rest of your body? And can you be attentive to the tips of your fingers, of your little finger, maybe even your pinky? What kind of sensibility is there? And then again, let them rest for a moment, your hands. And feel how they're feeling with resting, like feel this moment like not doing anything now. And then see if there's something close to you, close enough to you, that would be interesting for your hands to touch for a moment. So it could be your knees, or where where your hands are lying now. What would be interesting for them to touch? It could be the table in front of you, the surface. It could be whatever you have, like a pen or a book or your computer. Just exploring like letting your hands be led by a sort of a joy to touch, to want to touch, and a sort of curiosity what it feels like to touch now. What are interesting things to touch, interesting textures, or temperatures, or forms, or qualities. Maybe something soft or hard or dry or wet. Just grab that. And again, you can end now by seeing how your body wants to move, stretching out, seeing whatever impulse comes, what has maybe gotten louder in your body through this attention to the hands. And I invite you simply today to see if, like, what would be interesting for your hands to touch, for your left hand and for your right hand, and yeah, what would be nice to touch in the next few hours. Allow them to continue to be curious. So I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow.